Hi, we found each other.
Yes, over the sea of Zoom.
Hi, Madeline. How are you?
Good.
Good. What have you been doing this week in this hot weather?
Um, I've been doing my chores
Have
for,
you?
yeah,
For what?
um, like for a reward. You have to do all of your chores to get a reward.
Okay. And tell me an example of a chore you have to do.
I have to make my bed, brush my teeth, and hmm,
I can see how making your bed could be a chore. Is brushing your teeth a chore to you?
yeah, you
Come
have to brush
on.
your teeth.
Yeah, but don't your teeth feel all furry if you don't brush your teeth?
I don't know.
And then they'll turn all black and gray. What?
I've never had a cavity before.
Oh, that's so nice. And that's why you have to keep up brushing of your teeth. It's just something we do every day. It's just a good thing to do. And then what do you get as a reward? Wonderful. Good. So you and Miss Dana have been very busy at the piano, which is fantastic. So why don't you tell me what you're going to start with first today?
Um, Stars in the sky.
Oh, stars in the sky, such a pretty piece. Absolutely. This entire piece is for which hand?
Um, the left one.
Yes, the left one. And how can you tell it's only for the left hand?
Because the stems are going down.
Absolutely. And also, do you know the name of the clef that all those notes are in? Remember the name of it?
The bass clef?
Oh my gosh, good for you. And it also has another name. It's a bass clef, but it's also, do you know what the other name is?
No.
It's called the F clef. And the reason why it's also called the F clef is because it shows you exactly where the F is. So maybe Miss Dana will need to show it to you, but go ahead and find for us the big dot on that bass clef. So you can go ahead and put your finger up to it. The big dot. Yes, and then do you see those little two dots on the other side?
Yeah.
And that line is definitely the F line. Does that sound good? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so go ahead and play that F, that bass F. Guide note bass F. Yeah, it's down here. Yes, good. All right. So, why don't we go over the practice strategies that are up at the top of the page? And good old Mozart is telling you some really good practical steps to do before you play. So, first of all, can you tell Miss Dana and me who Mozart was? Do you know anything about him?
No.
Okay, Mozart was a really, really famous composer. He's considered to be one of the great composers. And he was also a child prodigy, which means he could play the piano at a really young age, really young, like so maybe 4, 5, 6 years old. Well, and he was an amazing composer because everything was up here in his head. And all he did was write everything down, and it was perfect. Can you believe that? Can you believe it? He once went to a concert with his dad. I mean, he went to many concerts, but this is the story. So he listened to this concert and he loved this one piece, and he went home and he wrote out every single part, every instrumentalist part, every singer's part, and it was perfect. Can you believe that?
No.
Yeah, it's incredible. That's the kind of genius he was. Oh my gosh. And he wrote such beautiful music. Oh my gosh. Which you will play someday for sure, I know. So the first thing he says is point to each note and count out loud. That's great. So how about if you point to each note and you're going to trace, right, the notes with your finger, right? So that you're going to feel like you're going up, or you're going to stay the same note, or you're going to go up, or you're going to go down. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go ahead and put your finger up to that first note, and then let's go ahead and count it out loud while you trace the notes.
One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Excellent. Now you have 2 notes in that piece that are new, and they each get 3 beats. Can you show us where those notes are? They get 3 beats. Point to them.
Does that note get 3 beats?
No.
Does that one?
Mm,
Are you sure? What are some other notes in the piece?
this one. This one.
Yes.
Yes. And then where's the other note that gets 3 beats?
This one.
That one gets 2 because it doesn't have a dot next to it. Do you see that? So you have to look for a note. Yes, that has a dot next to it. Good, good. And that's called a dotted half note. Can you say that?
Dotted half note.
Good. And do you remember what the name of the note is that looks like it, except it doesn't have a dot?
2 half.
It gets a half. It's a half note, right? And it gets 2 beats. Yeah, you said both counting and the name of the note all at the same time. That was good, Madalen. Great. All right, very nice. So, how are you with reading words? Can you read the words in this beautiful piece?
You want to try? Deep.
In the forest on a clear night. Millions of stars are such a great sight.
Right. Yes, good. So if you said those in rhythm, it would go like this. Deep in the forest on a clear night, millions of stars are such a great sight. Isn't that fun? So I held out those half notes and the dotted half notes, didn't I? Do you want to go ahead and try that with your teacher? Because then that will be completely in sync with each other.
Ready?
Deep in the forest on a clear night, millions of stars are such a great sight.
Yeah, that's nice. So it's a nice way to know what your piece is about, right? Yeah, but when you're playing it, it's probably much easier just to count it out loud, right? Rather than saying the words. So why don't you go ahead and play it and think about counting the notes while you play.
Can you count the rhythm as you go?
Wait, which word?
We'll count 1, 2, 3 as we go along.
Good, nice. Yes, Yes. Oh my gosh, your counting was so good, and so were the names of your notes. So can you go ahead and tell Miss Dana and me what the names of the notes are just for the very first line? So the very first measure has nothing but what kind of notes in it? That's a good question, isn't it? So you got to find your guide note base F. Okay, so find that on the piano. Yes, and you notice that line has a red color through it, right? So you'll remember, oh, that's my guide note base F. And is the next note up or down from that F?
Up.
It's up, absolutely. And do you remember that you learned that that's a step when you just go from one white key to the next? So a step up from F is what note?
G.
G. Oh my gosh, you're so smart. That's so good. So you have 3 G's in a row, right? And after those 3 G's, then you move up another step. So what is the next note? The next half note, actually. What's that?
A.
A, good. And then there's a repeated A. Do you see that? You play it again. And then what's the note that you play in that third measure?
B.
Yes, you're so good. And then the step goes down, right? Instead of going up. So what's the name of that dotted half note at the end of that line?
A.
Good. And then I'm just going to ask you one more note. Do you go up a step or down a second? Excuse me, yeah, you go up a step. Yes, to find what note in the very beginning of the second line?
B.
Oh, you're so good. All right, so if Miss Dana's ready, she could play the duet part with you. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Yes, good.
We'll focus on a nice steady beat. Okay? 1, 2, 1, ready, play.
Oh, lovely. And I like so much how you both lifted or rolled off the keys with your wrist first. Oh, that was lovely, you two. Very nice. Okay, so now what is the next piece that you can play today?